Hi, my name is Miss Lynn, and I'm going to share a story with you today. At the end of the story, there will be some questions. You'll know the questions are coming when they start with, "I wonder." These questions are the kind where there's no right or wrong answer. You might hear a question and just know what the answer is. There might be another question that you have many answers to, and there might be a question that you don't have any answers to at all. Or maybe you don't even understand the question. And all of that is okay. You can just say as many or as few answers as you have. If you're watching with someone else, you might even have different answers than the other person has, and that's okay too. So, let's get ourselves ready to enter the story. On the third Sunday in the season of Easter, we remember how one night it was dark in Jerusalem when the disciples gathered in a room with the doors shut. They were afraid that the soldiers would come and take them like they had taken Jesus. Someone said, "Peace be with you." They looked, and it was he. At first, they thought it was a ghost, but then he talked with them. They saw his wounds. He ate a piece of fish and opened the scriptures as he had on the road to Emmaus. Finally, he said again, "Peace be with you." And he was gone. Thomas had been away that night. When they told him the next day what had happened, he did not believe them. He had doubt in his bones. "I won't believe until I can touch his wounds." And why wouldn't he have some doubt? Their minds were stretching to be big enough to know Jesus in this new way. 8 days passed. The disciples again gathered in the room with the doors shut. This time Thomas was there. A voice said, "Peace be with you." It was he, and this time he went right up to Thomas and held out his hand. "Touch me." All Thomas could do was fall on his knees. "My Lord and my God." Jesus looked at him a long time. "Do you believe because you have seen?" Then he slowly looked around the whole circle and said, "Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe." On the fourth Sunday in the season of Easter, we remember how the disciples went north to Galilee as Jesus told them. It was a long journey, some 80 miles. It took about 4 days to walk. Many of them were fishermen, so they went to the Sea of Galilee to rest. This was the place they knew as boys. They had fished there with their fathers. Suddenly, Peter stood up and said, "I'm going fishing." The rest went with him to prepare the boat. Soon they pushed out into the lake, and the sail filled with wind. They fished all night, but they caught nothing. Still, the sounds and the smells of the lake comforted them. They were home. In the morning, the sky turned pink and then blue. They could make out the shore and someone standing by a fire. They could see the smoke and the red glow from the charcoal burning. "Have you caught anything?" All they could say was, "No." "Throw your nets on the other side." What could they lose? They pulled in the empty nets and threw them out on the other side. They could feel the fish moving as they held the ropes. John was not paying attention to the fish. He leaned forward and watched the man moving on the shore. He said to Peter, "It is the Lord." Peter stood up. He jumped. He swam. He felt the sand under his feet and waded ashore. The others turned the boat toward land. The nets were so full they could not pull them in, so they dragged them behind the boat. As they walked toward the fire, the stranger called out, "Bring some fish." When they gathered around the fire, the stranger was no stranger. They all knew it was Jesus, but they were afraid to say anything. "Have some breakfast." There were fish cooking on the fire. He gave them fish and bread. They talked as they ate. The fish and bread also tasted of home. Then Jesus asked Peter, "Do you love me?" "Yes, of course." "Feed my lambs." "Do you love me?" "You already know that I do, Lord." "Feed my sheep." He then began to talk to Peter about growing old and how you need help in old age. Sometimes people tell you what to do, even if you don't want them to. Years later, they wondered if Jesus had been preparing Peter for his death in Rome as an old man. Jesus said, "Follow me." Did he mean all of them? No. Peter got up, and the two of them walked off along the shoreline. Peter looked back and saw John following him. "What about this man? Will he die like the rest of us?" "It is not for you to know such things." Peter fell silent, and Jesus was gone.